YouTube, Aiden/Just Aiden. Got a little bit of an interesting video. I come up with all my video ideas. Like, I get into bed and my brain is just going a million miles a minute, and I always come up with these great ideas, and actually remember this one. Maybe because of some stuff that's happened to me recently. I'm not really sure why, but we're going to talk about giving and receiving feedback, whether it's compliments or negative feedback, anything of that sort. Reminder, if you want to listen with me, there's a link in the description. Moving on. So compliments and other feedback, it's something that we'll deal with at kind of all levels. Whether you're a student, obviously you're going to get feedback if you're getting lessons or something like that, or if you're in a college trombone studio, or if you're in real life, out in the professional world, people are going, hey, you sound great, or we need you to fit in the section more. All sorts of different things, constantly bouncing back and forth. Some of those things can be really helpful. Some of them cannot be as helpful. They can even be hurtful, anti-helpful. Let's talk about this a little bit. So whenever I get feedback, positive or negative, the first thing I do is I always trust it. The initial response from almost no matter who it is I'm going to trust what they say. But I'm going to verify it. The saying, of course, is trust but verify. I'm an idiot. I didn't look up where this came from, but it's a famous saying by like a president or something. I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was like Teddy Roosevelt or something, or Henry Kissinger. I don't know. Any case, trust but verify. So initially, yes, let whatever it is soak in and kind of take it as your own, but verify it. So by that meaning know your source. Who's it coming from? Is it the person playing next to you who really knows what you should be sounding like, or is it a grandma who happened to be at the concert who doesn't even really know you or how trombone works? How are their playing abilities? How are their ears? Do they really have good ears for how things should sound? Do they maybe not? And then, of course, you can also verify by listening to a recording. Of course, recordings are always the same as a live performance, so when you're actually listening to it. But you can also ask other people, etc. I've definitely been in situations where, I've been at a concert and other people have been at a concert, and we've come away with very different impressions of, the ensemble or people in it or whatever. So there can be different impressions of maybe your playing or someone you're talking about. So always verify it. I say trust but verify, not the other way around, because it's really easy to get usually something negative from somebody and just kind of go, no, I'm not going to listen to that. La 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 la. When even if it's someone who hates you or obviously is just out to get you or something, usually there's a nugget of truth in it, right? So I think it's a good thing to not just soak up this negative thing and just feel awful about it, but know that perhaps something is correct about that. What's something that happened to me recently? I was playing something at work, and we were walking back after a set, and I was like, dang, my face is just destroyed today after this particular set. And one of the trombonists was like, hey man, you sound great, but you are overplaying the rest of the band for a lot of it. That's probably why your face is shot. And instantly I just want to be really defensive and be like, well, I'm playing the dynamics, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't feel like it, but I have to think this guy's been playing the band for 4 years. He's got a permanent position. He's a really, really good player, has amazing ears, very consistent. He knows more about the gig than I do. And he can actually hear me instead of me listening to my feedback behind the bell, which is not always very indicative of what's going on out there or even to my side. So he's probably right. And I was like, all right, I'm going to start playing a little bit less. And that's totally on me. So instead of just being defensive, letting my ego, take over and be the driving force behind this, compliment or whatever, I kind of put that aside, trust it, and then verify it by, I went back, and then weeks and stuff coming after that, and I would try different dynamics in different places and kind of be like, I'm going to choose this moment to play out. I'm going to not choose this moment. I'm just going to come way down because it doesn't need to be that loud. And I think I'm a better musician for it. So that's just an example of something that I got and I trusted, and it turned out to be true. And I'm sure there's other things too. Typical comment that I think we all get is like our parents or some close family member or like a close friend will be like, "You sound great." And so instantly, you should trust it because they said you sound good. Why not take it? But verify it and be like, well, these people actually really know what they're talking about. Do they really know what great sounds like? Odds are, unless they're musicians or trombone players or whatever themselves, maybe they don't. They're trying to be nice, like that's not a bad thing. Accept nice compliments. Just know that you sound great is not an especially helpful comment. It's not going to like bring you up. And actually that can be a hurtful thing if the person is just straight up wrong and you actually don't sound good. I've definitely, in the past, like in high school, early college, people would be like, "Man, you're so good." And I would just internalize that and be like, "Yeah, I am great. Man, look at me. I'm so good at everything." And then looking back and then I realized, man, I was not that good. And it was nice having a confidence, but the confidence was unwarranted. And I really needed people to tell me, "Hey, you need to work on this and this and this and this, or you don't actually sound good." So that can be a good or a bad thing. Just kind of categorize like, "Ooh, this is a person being nice. I'll take it as someone being nice," rather than an actual value assessment of my playing. There's like two different things to that, right? So like helpful comments I think are always best, whether they're positive or negative. And it's best always to give like a compliment sandwich. Be like, "Man, you're playing like really in tune, but your articulations are this, but I really liked how you do this," whatever. It's like there's maybe something negative in the middle, but it's surrounded by two positive things. So, and all of it is helpful, right? They get the feedback that, "Oh, my intonation is good, great. I'll keep working on it, but I'm getting to a better place." Articulations, maybe they need some work. Maybe I don't really know what they sound like out in front of the bell, and I need to work on that, etc. It's always helpful things, right? It's not just you sound good, you sound bad, etc. Those are not particularly helpful things, even if it is true. You need to know what it is, how to fix it, etc. Something that I do is when I talk to like really good players, say I'm talking to professionals who I just listened to. My example here is Stefan Schultz, the bass trombonist of the Berlin Philharmonic, premiered a bass trombone solo with, I guess it was orchestra, at the Lace Trombone Festival. The piece itself wasn't very good. It was not great music. Stefan, though, played so well. Like, there was literally one note, just like an F in the staff or something, that was one of the most beautiful notes I've ever heard out of a bass trombone. I'm not exaggerating in any way. This is not hyperbole. Like, that note gave me goosebumps. And the piece itself was not good, but that note was good. And so after the concert, we're all hanging at the bar. We're a few beers in, and I go up to Stefan. I'm like, "Hey, Stefan, love the premiere tonight. Like, I don't think the piece is very good, but I loved your playing. And, it might seem kind of dangerous, like, you're insulting this piece that you just premiered." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, the music I'm not really sold on, but thank you for giving me that compliment about my playing." And I told him about, like, this note and some other couple things in the piece. And then we had a discussion for like 10 minutes about these little things that he was doing to try and make it more musical and stuff. So it wasn't just me going, "Hey, Stefan, sounds great. Yeah, I love your playing." That's not really useful for him. But to actually get some feedback, I'm sure he doesn't really need the feedback at this point. But to have someone go, "Hey, these specific things I really like," that is really, it's a nice thing for him. And it's also kind of helpful to be like, "Oh, hey, those things that I purposefully did are being noticed." Even at a level like that, I think that's really good. So, when you meet professionals or whoever, just really good players in the future, and you see them in performance, hear a concert, I think it's always best to have just a little bit more than the bare minimum of, "Hey, you sound great," because honestly, they probably get that all the time, and that's just not the most useful thing. And the last thing, of course, and I think this is always true, is to be truthful. If you don't have anything nice to say or anything helpful to say, maybe don't say anything at all. But if you do have something to say, you know, don't just lie. I don't think it's really cool to just be like, hey, sounded great, when maybe this person actually didn't sound great. I think it's best to always be truthful. You don't always have to say the truth out loud. Maybe it's best to not say anything at all, but I think it's not great to just lie to people about perhaps their playing or whatever. So maybe people disagree with me. That's my kind of take on feedback, giving and receiving, and I'll see you guys probably in another video today. I have lots of time today. Bye!